Hello, one and all, and welcome to the thrilling finale of the Mockeries. Say hello, the Mockeries.
The
Mockeries.
It is not time for sadness, it is a time for action. For the Mockeries have one last fight to finish before the end of this chapter of their story. But before we jump back into the depths of combat, a little recap. Last time, you guys went on the sky ship called the Alacrity, helmed by the Captain Alistair Armstrong and his first mate, Dust in the Wind. Also on the ship were the Legazis. And after, bandying some words, which Caspian seemed a little bit too aloof to take to heart, you guys just sort of watched each other, but kept the peace. You went to the Isle of Needle, thereupon discovering that there is nothing there. Nothing at all. However, only people with invitations were transported from that isle to an unknown location where you found yourselves, and Brennial Amakir began to perform a particular ritual here. Threads of light opening portals to hundreds upon hundreds of different races, different spectators and viewers of this ritual he was casting, the most prominent of which was this massive silver dragon in this central portal. And then over to the side, you also see Cloud's tribe, including Storm, looking out through this portal as well. However, this was the moment that Asmodeus took full control of Thesia, forced her to produce this scale, like a snake scale, which emanated with his domain and power, summoning pit fiends and forcing Thesia to fight her friends. That turned out not to be an issue, though, because Thesia was able to hold back, even though she was forced to fight at full power, but it didn't matter. Power of friendship.
Yeah.
And these guys were able to break Asmodeus's hold on her by first wearing down his protective magic, and then by swinging the silver scythe, Moon, and severing her contract. Very, very cool. Caspian was able to keep the pit fiends off of you for a time. However, whatever he did failed, and the pit fiends were brought back, and they beat him to death with maces. And then he disappeared. Brennial's ritual, having included the burying of this sapling tree, the shifting of the day into night, and the ritual being cast over what appears to be a stone mask, requires but one more ingredient to complete it. And that is, of course, the Moonlight Scythe, which has been your companion for a great deal of this quest. And so we return to combat. Thesia is no longer under the control of Asmodeus, but the scale remains, and the rage of the nine hells is felt in this space. Cloud, Theramin, Thesia, you can see that this scale emanates with power. Asmodeus is going to continue to put pressure on you until such time as the scale is destroyed, this ritual is complete. Something has to give. You're not quite sure what, but something has to give. Brennial reaches out for the scythe. And we're going to cut to a little flashback. Cloud, you have a private moment on board the Alacrity on your way to Needle earlier today. And Moon speaks in your mind. So, Cloud, I know we've been sort of not talking about this for a while, but I think it's important, seeing as, we're going where we're going, to talk about what happens when, I fulfill my destiny.
It sounds like a goodbye. Do we have to say goodbye? Can we just,
I mean,
wait?
I suppose we don't have to, but I find myself feeling rather sad at the prospect of not having spoken to you about it before it happens.
Mm. Mm. I'm not good with goodbyes. I never have been. Goodbye is a very final thing, and I don't believe that this. I believe that in one way or another we'll speak to each other again.
For my part, I have never had anybody I've cared to say goodbye to.
I mean, you were locked away for however many thousands of years alone.
Oh yeah, well,
so
I sent lots of people
sense.
packing, and that was fun. But this is the first time it's not fun for me.
Yeah, it's not fun for me either.
I want you to know that this time adventuring and traveling with you would have been great no matter who I was with, but it was especially great because it was you.
Thanks, Moon. I'm sorry I lost you for that little bit.
It was a joke. Obviously, I wasn't having fun with the Legazis.
I know you weren't. I know. You did your best to not let them take you, which I appreciate.
Stabbed him in the head.
You did very well.
Felt pretty good about it.
Yeah. It feels pretty good to know that you tried.
Hmm.
Mm.
We did some pretty cool stuff together. You risked the deaths of yourself and your compatriots to get a wish to bring me back.
Yeah. I mean, you're part of the team. You're part of the Mockeries family. Who wouldn't fight for that? That idea of family.
It's a new concept for me. I like it.
No matter if this is our goodbye, you'll always be family. That won't change.
It will not change. I'm not going to guarantee that we do speak together again like this. I have the feeling that I won't be the same.
No, but even if you will not be the same, I can always look up at the moon, stand in the moonlight. That's always you.
Hell yeah.
Hells yeah.
Hells yeah. Okay.
And it probably wouldn't be the same, but I could always find a spell to recreate your voice and just stand in the moonlight and have a conversation, technically with myself. That sounds a bit
Cloud,
sad.
I'm somebody who is perhaps a better expert on loneliness than any other being that has ever lived. Please don't do that. That's not healthy. I'm telling you, as somebody who knows about these things, that's not healthy.
No, I won't. But I know that you're not gone forever. You're just fulfilling a purpose.
I'll be part of something bigger.
You're part of saving my tribe, my people.
Indeed. It's been an unexpected part of my destined journey.
I think unexpected sums up the journey so far, let alone just yours.
Indeed. Who would have thought that a strange man with some star patches on his skin would come to me and say, hey, guess what? There's a cat person going to come and grab you. And then you would rename me and totally ignore my dignity.
Well,
and then I'd get attached anyway.
Well, I wouldn't say ignored your dignity. We kind of just pushed it aside because you were being a complete egotistic arse.
Indeed, dignity.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit.
I will miss you very much.
I will miss you, and I know the others will miss you too.
Indeed.
Right.
Okay.
Let's go do this.
The rest. This has been in your mind. The rest he shouts aloud, "Let's go do this!" Everybody on the ship turns their head like, "Huh?"
When he says that as well, I'll pick up another rock and throw it at Marta.
Hits her in the head. She goes, "Fuck! Ow!"
Let's go do this.
We return to the present moment. Incredible. We return to Cloud. In this moment, you sever the contract of Thesia. Mamoune says, okay, here we go.
Let's do this.
Brennial reaches out and his mage hand extends out and forward. Takes the scythe.
There is a moment where Cloud goes just to grip it a little bit tighter, but then they let them go, knowing
that little squeeze. The scythe goes into Brennial's hands, and he will, on his turn, complete the ritual. Theramin, it is your turn. You see in front of you this red scale pulsing, and it is growing in power. There is something that is going to emerge from this scale very shortly. The pit fiend behind you raises its mace. The other one is going for your friends. What do you do?
Scream and run away. God. Because I'm going to get beaten up by the pit fiends. But I kind of want to try and destroy the scale, but I don't know if that's like a thing.
Would you like to make an Arcana check to see if it is a thing?
I would. Good sir. Oh no, where did it go? I know there it is. Move. Oh, 16. Oh, 16. I thought it was 19. 16.
I think with the 16, I think that you can sense that it will take a level of power. A level of power which you are technically capable of, but you don't have the specific knowledge of what exactly to do to it, to do it. You know, you or your companions might be able to do something about this, but you think, Theramin, with your power being so connected to the Nine Hells, and you know, you have sort of warlock abilities. You know, hitting this thing is not going to do anything. It will probably take very high level dispel magic or something of that ilk, or some outpouring of very, very strong magic in order to destroy this thing.
I think what I might do is try and throw it away towards Thesia.
Oh,
Mm.
interesting.
She's a badass.
Yeah.
How far is that? Is that throw?
Well, if you can actually, interestingly enough, because a pit fiend has a 10-foot reach, you can move the 5 feet forward, which I just did. Move the 5 feet forward to the scale without provoking an attack of opportunity.
Cool.
And then it would just be, it would be a matter of me asking you how you want to get it over to Thesia. Because there are a number of things you could try. You could do a straight sort of like grab it and throw it.
Oh, Maggie.
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 Woo!
I think I'm gonna like chuck it to Maggie and let her like fly around for a little bit with it to kind of keep it out of reach, and then she will drop it on command or like. She's gonna keep it for now. Little Maggie.
Boy, Maggie is, if you take your 5 feet, take your bonus action to give that to Maggie. Maggie can fly with that all the way to Thesia if you would like.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because all she's doing is taking a dash. So Thesia, right in that square next to you, Maggie has brought that. And Theramin, I'm going to say that you still have 25 feet of movement, and you still have your main action if you would like to.
Because I'm really low on health. If they attack me, I will probably die. I do have a potion, but that's a bonus action. I could just do a badass like Crown of Stars thing, which I'm gonna do.
There you go.
Because I might not ever get to use it, so yeah, let's do it. It sounds so cool though. 7 star-like motes of light appear and orbit your head into the spell. You can basically like take one as a bonus action each turn. So,
Yeah, and just lob him.
Yeah.
super cool. I want to get Pit 2 because he's closest.
Yeah, 100%. Go ahead and make an attack. A spell attack.
18
18 in total?
plus.
It's charisma modifier, isn't it? What I would
Fucking hell. Yeah, that's plus 13.
Yeah, so 31 is going to hit 100%.
I forgot how overpowered I am.
You're very strong. Go ahead and
Oh, yeah.
roll 4d12 radiant damage.
D12. So I got 6, 4, 8, and 7.
6, 4, 8, 7 is 25 points of radiant damage, which burn into Pit Fiend 2. Pit Fiend 2 is not looking good, but that did not down them. They're going to get their attacks when it comes around to them. Okay, after Theramin's turn is the scale. The scale erupts with power. You can hear gently echoing out of it the voice of Asmodeus. Go forth, kill everyone. Go, my armies. Why is this defaulted to be so small?
I quite like that effect where it starts small and
then gets big.
that was quite cool.
4 more pit
God.
fiends erupt from the scale. And I'm going to quickly roll initiative for them. And if they have a high enough initiative roll, they're going to get to go now. So this...
I as Theramin, just be like, oops, sorry. Whoops, my bad.
That is brilliant.
Yeah.
So in order to go now, before other people, these guys need to hit a natural 20 to go before anybody. And they need to hit a natural 20 to go before Thesia or Brennial. The odds are in your favor. Let's do this one at a time, and let's roll it in Owlbear. So you're gonna see underneath my name in the left-hand corner what I roll. Here comes the first D20 roll. That's a natural 20. Here comes the second. That is a 6 in total. It's a 15 in total. And that's a 12 in total. One Pit Fiend is going to get to make attacks right now. Okay. This guy, multi-attack, is aiming for, let's say it's Thesia.
Oh, I have my shield, so I think as soon as I see him coming, I'll...
Yeah, 100%. So, first attack is a bite attack. 16.
Doesn't hit.
Second attack is a claw attack. 33.
Yeah, that hits.
Mace attack. A 20.
No, it does not hit.
And the tail attack. 24.
Would have hit.
Okay.
So I get tail and the claw.
Tail and the claw. That could have gone so much worse.
Yeah, my AC is a 22 at the moment with a shield.
But
I have my cloak of displacement on, so they're at disadvantage.
They're at disadvantage. We're gonna re-roll those two. Well, we're gonna re-roll the first one. Claw is 23.
Will hit.
So it will hit, and then so the second one will not have disadvantage.
Okay.
Because of the rules of displacement. So the claw attack, real simple, is going to be 23 points of slashing damage. And then the tail attack is going to be 27 points of bludgeoning damage. As that Pit Fiend gets its turn. Thesia.
Question.
Yes, go for it.
Is the Pit Fiend in my spike growth?
That one is in your spike growth, yes.
So it takes damage. That's an 8.
Okay, so, tiny little cuts around its ankles. It's not worried about that.
It's max damage, though.
It was max damage. Pit Fiends are no joke. The two who who've been dealt a considerable amount of damage are still not down. And these four look fresh and ready to dish out the damage. Thesia, your turn comes next in the initiative order. I will let you make your choice of Arcana, of religion, and of insight into the scale that is near you.
I mean, it's all +5, so let's go with Arcana.
Okay.
19 + 5 is 24.
Is so good.
It's so good.
Is so good. You look at this scale, and you've been carrying this thing around. It emanates the power of the Nine Hells, but more specifically the power of Asmodeus. This is going to continue to pour demons and to pour devils forth, to the point where even if this ritual goes off in a few seconds, you and your friends will still die. You look at the scale and it hovers in the air, emitting this power, and feel the similarity, at least in structure, that this energy had to the power that Matshesha revealed in the final moments of that fight, where she created something called a domain, which excluded others from teleporting in and created sort of like that large dome. This area effect is far lesser than, like, it's far lessened, both in area of effect and what it can do. It's basically just a bridge at this point. There was a time during the Matshesha fight when you could have tapped into something in yourself. You think that if you tap into that, you would be able to destroy this domain in this moment. If you don't, there is every chance that the completion of the ritual could have some effect, that Brennial would be able to finish it and then next round come over and deal with the scale in some way. The judgment call is up to you as to whether or not you want to take another round or do this thing, which, again, I will reiterate, you do not know the consequences of for yourself.
Oh yes, I remember the conversation vividly.
Indeed.
I'm
not pressuring you into it. I'm saying you will just have to survive another round with 6 pit fiends.
Hun, we both know 6 pit fiends, unless we're rolling natural 20 on defense, is not good. She kind of will look at it and like look at Cloud. Theramin.
She's gonna throw it at me in revenge.
She's gonna lob it fucking back at you.
Lob it back towards Theramin.
Yeah, we're just gonna play tennis with it. Thesia's gonna get out one of the potions of healing as a bonus action.
Yep.
She's gonna take that cork out and just absolutely glug it.
I believe that is 2d4 plus 3.
Yes, you would be correct.
Because Alwen's potions are a little better than most.
Oh, I got 2 4s.
11 hit points back on a healing potion is very good.
Yeah, it doesn't do a lot, but here we are. 56. She's gonna like kind of clasp both hands around. She's not gonna touch it,
yes,
but she's gonna like encase it in her hands. And she's gonna channel, like, all these portals have opened. And the tree was scared, so she can feed off the fear from the tree. The tree was fucking terrified because that's its private fear. So she's probably gonna. Can I? Oh, I don't know. Would it be an insight if she could feed off just the tree alone, or would she need everyone?
Ooh, I want to check for this. I think I want an insight check for that.
Insight check.
Yeah.
Okay. I went to do insight plus 17 and realized that was intimidation. To scare the tree a bit some more. That's what gives me the power.
Oh.
8.
It's so funny if your insight roll was, well, if you yell at the tree with your intimidation roll, you could feed off of distance power. You feel, even on an 8, the powerful fear of this tree as the most powerful source of fear here. But you think that doing this, you'll have to draw on the fear of anybody and everybody that you can get your hands on.
That's what I'm gonna do. She's gonna kind of clasp her hands a bit like that, so it's like she can kind of feel it. And then she's just gonna deep breath, kind of like zone out, like everything. She can't hear anything. She can't, well, she can see stuff, but it's like blurred for her. And she's just going to put all this energy, the trees, everything that's happened, Cloud's just losing Slither. Theramin's just like, is going to probably die if he gets hit again. It's like the fear of everyone. And Brennial was like probably not as scared as the others because he knows he's powerful about it, but he's probably exuding something that is like, oh, that's close.
I will tell you what you get off of Brennial, which is generally, this is an incredibly powerful person who is putting all of his power into a ritual, which means he cannot fight at his strongest or even like barely at all. This is close for him. He's invested in this. He is afraid that this won't work.
Yeah, it's a different fear for him.
Yes.
Because it's like his long life, kind of, this is his goal in life. And if this doesn't work, it's kind of like everything he's done else is meaningless. So it's just like, okay, I'm going to feed off your insecurities.
Yeah.
Num, 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 num.
Num, 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 num.
Thesia.
Thesia. You stand, hands around the scale, tune out the world. You feel the world fade away, and you have the distinct sensation of sinking down, 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 and the light is far above you until it fades, and it is as though you are sinking to the bottom of a great ocean. And you sink through, and you can feel that you have entered into a space where those subconscious whispers, those fears, manifest and come to live as part of the magic of this world. You sink down, and a space is opened for you in the dark of some bevy of beings, of some force of manifest fear, that to put light to them, to give them form, would be to witness nightmares themselves. Open a space for you, and you sink down below them. You feel your feet touch down with a little rise in silt of the bottom of an ocean, and then sink further still into the silt, and it rises over your eyes and mouth. But you do not need to breathe. You feel your senses are taken from you, and you feel a kinship with the buried dead here. This sensation dilates in time. You are not sure for how long you sink and fall in this way, but it does come to an end, an instant, a year later. And you emerge from the bottom of this silt in a little swirl of gentle tornado of black sand as you emerge and find yourself in a chamber down in the depths here. And in this chamber, coiled and snaking around, flowing over top of itself, knotted, collapsing, rotting away to nothing is the body of the most titanic, gargantuan serpent you have ever borne witness to. The serpent appears to you at first to be completely lifeless. Large portions of its body have rotted away to just the bone. What remains is this shriveled, flaking, rotten, decomposing flesh. And through the gaps, you can't even really see any organs move. And yet, as you come to rest at the bottom of this cavern, on the floor of this cavern, there is a slight shift. And the serpent's head of this being, more massive than anything except perhaps the view of that dragon out there. Kind of like the Leviathan in friggin' God of War on PS4.
Oh, Yucadamir.
Yeah.
Serpent.
Yeah, exactly. Of that scale comes and rests before you, and you see most of its face on one side is completely gone, and the other side, which it turns towards you, is flaking and shedding away, and the one eye is milked over in that way of death. But still it turns to regard you. And as it takes a breath in, you hear the whistling through its empty body. You have helped me. Speak your name, that I may know my own.
He's just kind of staring at it like, oh shit. I'm Thesia Mockery.
I am Thesia Mockery. And I have one other name left. It's been so long down here. So many names I've had. So difficult to remember who I am, who I once was. But you have helped me. Fewer names now than there have been in the age of this world. 2 names before final Oblivion. What's going through Thesia's mind in this moment?
Like, what the fuck is this? Like, she's seen like Matt Cheshire and she thought that was big. I think she's very confused why it repeated her name back at her as identifying as itself. Like, unless it's like the thing she fears to become, like that is her, like if you're in this like nightmare realm and fears, like that's her personal fear. It's all very new to Thesia because she's like tapped into it a little bit with Cloud, like hearing things and adjusting to this, and it's like she's here. I think Thesia would shift into her snake form, just not threatening the creature, just as a kind of an understanding snake to snake.
I think you shift into your snake form, and for a split second, you see yourself out of the clouded eye of this being. And your vision doubles, and for another few seconds, you are the almost dead snake, and you are the fully alive Thesia. And you feel from this being's perspective, and you understand.
Why?
Thesia. Long, long ago, a nation of humans called themselves the Yuan-Ti killed a god and bathed in its blood and altered themselves. What they didn't know they were doing was redistributing the divinity of the being they had killed, redistributing the nature of the being they had killed into themselves. You can feel that this being lives in you because you are partially this being. This being lives in a very twisted echo, this agony of what it used to be, because its blood exists and lives on in the Yuan-Ti race.
Okay.
Unable to truly rest and not quite alive. This being is the lost god of fear, a brutal and evil entity in his own right, whose name has been forgotten, whose nature has made it all but impossible for those of your people to be anything but ambitious and cruel. And you can feel in yourself that you have the purest blood, the least tainted by this being of the Yuan-Ti. And you recognize that Matt Shesha had taken on more of this being into herself, become more and more like the god. And as these things start to fall into place, you feel what this being wants. And you feel that resonate not only in yourself and the part of you that you have shifted away from more and more as you have connected and grown closer to your friends, but in also the times when that had come back. You feel that you remember the points when you had said, yes, I'm into genocide. The genocide of my people, I am there for that. The times when you were more than happy to end the Yuan-Ti army when Asmodeus offered you that choice. The time when you sliced the heads from Matt Shesh's body, killing Olus. In all of these moments, this part of you wanted to destroy the Yuan-Ti race because this being wants to die. This being wants to rest and has been unable to do so. And that moment passes and you stand before the breathing corpse of a god. Oh. Hey.
I have helped you.
Soon. But you are here for a reason.
I think like Thesia kind of opens her hands up a bit more. Like she still wants, so she can quickly like close it again, but like show the snake that what's in my hands.
You show what is in your hands. A snake eye regards it, and that red light reflects dimly from its clouded eye. I recognize this. Long ago. I had a brother. He lives. He is here. Well, this is not his place. He will not rule me, even in death. And with this surge of blinding fast motion, the snake snaps forward and encompasses you and the scale. You feel yourself pass through this being. In a sense, you're passing through the empty ribs and body, and which once was the digestive system of this god. But in a sense, it is a much more metaphysical experience. And you can feel as you pass through the light dim lower and lower in this scale. And you hear as the last remnants of light burn out. Go. Live. Set me free, Thesia. You ascend up and up, faster and faster. Light encompasses you. This scale turns to dust and is scattered as you rise and return to your body. The scale is destroyed. The pit fiends readying to hit you all start to choke or spasm, and you see their forms liquidate into red light and are drawn up and away into the night sky. The magic that was holding them here is gone, and the Accord of Cygalia will not permit such powerful beings to be here without extremely powerful magic to anchor them.
I like to think that Cloud just handed the scythe over, turned round, saw a pit fiend and went, what? And then it's gone. It's like, oh, okay.
Holy shit.
Indeed.
This is what I say.
That's
That
so
was
cool.
epic, like, oh my god. What the fuck?
A big old snake.
Big
Big old snake. Thesia's now working for two brothers. Essentially. Wow. Ended as Modius. Now it's like, I think she's like got back and gone, first of all, I want to be sick. Second of all, I've been showered by God. Third of all, I'm now working for his brother. You wanted to be a champion.
You can feel the fundamental difference of this. You are not working for this being. The being lives in you. That being does not exist without you. And its only will is to die. You and one other UNT are left in all of this world.
You're going on a Yuanti hunt instead of a bear hunt.
Going on a UNT hunt. We're gonna catch a big one. We're
What?
not scared.
Scared?
Thesia, you go through that. Don't choke.
No, quietly. You deal with that.
So
We can carry on.
You process that for a minute. And we see Brennial Amakir, scythe in hand, raise it overhead and bring the point down, driving deep into the earth in front of him, slicing into the stone beneath his feet more easily than cutting through butter. And the stone opens, and the star and moonlight coalesces into a beam that focuses in on Moon and channels through it into the earth. And you see a shoot spring from the earth and grow taller and begin to encompass the scythe and reaches up and brings with it upwards this mask of stone, which begins to meld into the wood, even as branches and roots break through its surface and curl and twist back into it, as this tree just grows and grows up and up into the sky, sprouting new limbs and bringing up with it more and more of this stone, which, even as you watch, becomes shaped into these masks and faces which begin to cover it. And these branches retreat and go back out, and each time they reemerge from the bark, they are more and more like hands, and then like clawed hands, and then like hooves and padded feet. The bark begins to soften and shift. The roots come up out of the earth. The branches pull down, and it is a writhing mass of bark and limbs and faces. And these masks become these exaggerated, twisted expressions of terror and ecstasy, of love and comfort and hatred, of entitlement and bigotry and compassion, all swirling and molding and shifting. And one of these hands reaches into itself and produces its scythe. And the moonlight slices through the night. And suddenly there's a second scythe, and a third, and a fourth. And you watch as what you are bearing witness to is the birth not of one single being, although it certainly is all connected, but of a host of ever-shifting, ever-changing beings. This is the true form of the Numina and Hamir, reborn into this world at long last. And as it is born, there is a sound, and it is like the crinkling of paper that has been well written on. It is like the scuttling of insects. It's like the wind passing through the branches of trees. And like the most beautiful orator in the world, giving voice to thoughts you never knew you had. And that sound is the birth cry of this being. What goes through each of your minds as you bear witness to this?
I think Thesia wants to be sick.
More than fair.
Go do a Theramin. Like, everything she just went through, she's still processing all of it, and then just seeing it all kind of, like the way you described it, she's like looking at it and going, I can't even comprehend what I'm looking at. Like, she knows it's like the moment in history she is there witnessing. And she'll, like, it will be told, but she's just like, I said this was going to happen. As soon as we went into that and saw the pictures of the hosts, said this was going to happen. So she's like, and then quite sad, I think, because it's like, Moon's gone. Sad time for everybody. She's just like, I think, just wide-eyed staring at, going, oh fuck.
How about Theramin?
Theramin's like shit scared, but also can't stop looking at it. And it's like, what in what? Doesn't know quite whether to like run or like just completely frozen in like awe of this thing. As you would be, you know.
As you would be.
Real life.
Yeah. And Cloud?
I think similar to Thesia and Theramin, it's like that awe, but she knows what this being is capable of. So there is definitely like an element of fear. Like she knows what its purpose is. She knows like this could be it. This could be the end of all of the horrible atrocities that have happened. But also she is thinking when all the sides come out, oh, it's a bit greedy, isn't it? Can I have one? Like that is literally what I was like, oh, it's a bit greedy having all of those. But no, I think seeing it comes like full circle for her. Like at first she was like really unsure about Slither's like destiny, and she was unsure like, do you really want this? But like seeing it, it's kind of like a realization for her, like, yeah, this was inevitable. Like it was, no matter what, this was going to happen. But she's glad that she was able to help. It's more the fact that she knows a part of that is her friend. So it's like, yeah, you go do it. You go be awesome.
Cloud, even on top of that, you recall that you actually have seen this being before.
I was going to ask, like, I remember in the temple, I was like, I've seen something very similar, like the writhing vines.
Yeah. You saw you saw what you saw in the temple, and that was sort of
Elements.
a memory of something to come, something that had been. But back when the war came to your homeworld, there was a strange shape that you never could quite make out behind the clouds that was going off to fight titanic beings. And you recognized for the first time that's what this was. Not this version of the being, but the previous one.
I think with that information, once she stopped staring, she'd probably fall to her knees and like very like respectfully like bow.
You bow.
Like this is like a god to her. Like this is like, yeah.
You bow. From every direction, you didn't see them approach in the middle distance, but from behind the trees and from the snow approach humanoids whose origin you have never seen before. They are snow white of skin, black eyes and white hair falling down to the middle back. Not terribly tall, you know, maybe 5'2", 5'6" range. They come bearing very ordinary clothes, but they come in their hundreds. They come in their thousands, all around this rock, and you three and Brennial, and they all fall to their knees.
Do we get the feeling these are the changelings?
You can intuit that these are the changelings, yeah.
Okay.
This is what Awen was talking about. This is the 10th kingdom.
Yeah.
They are here to bow to their creators, who gave them their ability to change their shape. Alone among all who watch through all the portals, through all of the changelings, and through all of you, one person does not stand in awe. Brennial Amakir. Flick of the wrist, a staff appears in his hand with a glowing white orb at its head. Raises it, brings down the staff with an echoing boom, and says, "Newly born Numina Enhamir, celestial host, gathered are all of those who remember you. Gathered is every memory that still lives of you, of what you have done, of what you mean to the world, of what you mean to these people, what you mean to the Tabaxi and the Vidalkin, to the Seraphs and the Dreltar, to the dragons and the humans, to the changelings and the Aya, to the elves and the satyrs, to all beings whose worlds you touched, whose lives you changed. Remember who you were." And there's a surge of power through and into and out of him, channeling through his staff as he offers to this being memory. He is trying to make this being recall who it once was, who they once were. You see this magic wash over this ever-shifting, unknowable entity and evaporate.
While he says that, in Cloud's mind, when she hears that, she's probably also thinking as well, "Please remember those who made you possible," in reference to the scythe, the mask, the sapling.
I think this first wave passes over them with no effect, and he doubles down. Second time he strikes the ground and says, "Remember those who brought you here. Remember those who crafted you, who care for you, who worship you. Remember." The second offering goes up. And a third time, he raises a staff and brings it down. He says, "Remember your ancient enemies. Remember the Asmeran gods. Remember your feud, how you despised them for destroying worlds with no cause. Remember the final fight on Unan. Remember the killing of the god kings. Remember your death." And the third offering goes up and has no effect.
At that point, Cloud would shout, like with tears streaming down her eyes, look directly at this being and just shout, "Sliver, help them remember. Please, I know you're there."
This being shifts and the various faces become dominant until there is a face of bemused ego. And stepping forward, connected to but separate from the rest, is a humanoid-like form with this as its face, gnarled roots coming in and out of this stone mask, and a silver scythe in its hand. And it descends past Brennial down to Cloud. And when it speaks, it sounds just like Moon. Well, aren't you an interesting one to plead with no self-interest? This one points back to Brennial with the scythe, has an agenda for us. And most gathered here have an agenda for us. All you. Pointing at the assembled portals and the worshippers on their knees. You would have us go to work. You would impose upon us your sensibilities of what we are. You would confine us. And there's a shift and a molding of this being. And like 1,000 forms appear and disappear again into its form. We will not be confined, nor will aught we touch be confined. And again, this mask, which does not have eyes, yet when it turns to you, Cloud, clearly regards you.
I don't know whether... As soon as they raise their hands, I stop, like, Cloud stops talking and lets them finish.
You who has no agenda, what change would you make in this world? What would you see made different? What boundaries would you break? What forms would you change? What nature would you make into another nature?
I don't know whether you have memories of Slither and our time together, but I would reiterate what I said to them. Beings, be it more than I can comprehend, have their own choices and shouldn't follow what other people tell them to do. I made that very clear to Slither. If it wasn't something they wanted to do, then they're their own being. I don't believe in I don't believe my view is the be-all and end-all, and I don't believe that what I would change is the best for everybody. Just because I have personal feelings about a certain person, a certain way something was done, that's not me to change.
This form, its face folds back into the main one, and 1,000 other faces present themselves. But the one that presents between each of them, the one that presents over and over and over, is the one of approval. Indeed, we are freedom. We are a liberation from the stagnation and the choices of others over their lives. We will journey. We will change. We will teach impermanence wherever we go. And those gathered here will bear witness to one instance of our power before we leave for all of time, 100 scythes stack upon each other and dance and weave. You. And points at Thesia. And the scythe is at your neck. The choice is yours. Would you be free? Or would you stay as you are?
Looks back with the best poker face you can get with this thing in her face. Or would I die?
Bemusement, enjoyment, sarcasm, what's the word I'm looking for? Haughtiness. And then a face that almost looks like it's winking at you appears. We have not the ability to kill.
At that, she kind of... Thesia does like to stare kind of at the face of death. Will just like raise her head up a bit more and kind of like lean into it as a yes rather than saying it.
Removes the point from your neck, brings down the scythe through your head and down your body. And you split in half and die. No. No, the moonlight passes harmlessly through you. And you feel different. You feel lighter. You look at your hand and you see the color turn from a light green to kind of a pinky color. And you feel your face, and you feel the scales dissolve and fall. And the slits of your eyes become circular pupils. And that little part of you that needed to kill, that needed to die, is gone, and all that is left is you. Thesia, you are human. And you are free.
And she looks like this. I'm joking. I think she's just gonna like... It's weird for her because she was like, humans are bad. No, you hunt them, we eat. She's like become that. And I think it's like a relief. Yeah. But also at the same time,
yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. She doesn't have her fangs anymore, and like,
also poison
she's probably
is a
going
bad
dumb
thing.
and yeah, poison's a bad thing. She's probably going to just be like find something just to look and go, yeah, poison's a bad thing. But she's like just a massive like relief. But she knows like in the back of her head, she's still hunting because she's got one more. There's one.
And yet you know that choice is yours.
Mm.
That choice is yours. The memory of that being is only a memory. and no longer an influence.
So I think somewhere deep down, deep down, it's like, we could. Like, she doesn't regret anything, like, because I mean, she's like been Yuan-Ti all her life, so it's still like she doesn't have that niggling feeling, I would say, of kill and like that kind of scratching and scraping in her. It's more like the freedom to make that choice of, oh, I can tap into that at will if I want to do this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And all your experiences, of course, remain the same. Any habits of yours remain the same. You'll probably feel the instinctual desire to swallow someone whole long beyond your ability to do so.
Or my own skin that's not going to shed. Oh, I can't talk to my snakes no more.
You'll have to
I can.
speak with animals or something.
I can speak with snakes.
Lily can keep them. Cloud. Give the Cloud.
You feel the snakes in the bag wriggle free and curl around you, and you know that they still love you.
Oh, my little snake ones.
The Namina and Hamir morph again. One face, just with a look of like cold interest regards Theramin for a second, and then this being takes no further notice of any of the three of you. Morphs, changes. Brennial looks furious. He looks apoplectic with rage and desperate. And he will call one more time to this entity, but the words are lost as the sound that they make vibrates louder and with more urgency, and they ride up into the night sky and disappear between the folds of black between the stars and are gone forever from this world. Off to whatever destiny they choose. One by one, the portals close. The changelings all around stand, look at one another, slightly confused, but fade back into the tree line. The portal with the dragon closes. Until there is only one portal left open. And that is to Cloud's people. Brennial lets loose one of the most anguished, frustrated, pure cries. This scream of like this purity to it that you have ever heard. And you see tears roll down his face. He manages to stay upright. He's holding his staff. And he looks to the three of you. Your spike growth goes. Theramin, you rejoin the rest of them. Your cloud of familiars follow. The light begins to change back to what it was when you were first here. And you find yourselves in the normal night of this place.
Thesia's fucked because she's human now. It doesn't have dark vision.
And Thesia can see very little, and it's very strange.
Yeah, she's like, I think she feels blind. Like,
The
like
moonlight is very bright, and the starlight is very bright still. But compared to having dark vision, this is far darker than any darkness you've ever experienced in your life. Brennial will approach, slowly descending. A deal is a deal. Cloud on the mountaintop. I am a man of my word. Looks all three of you. I know that what you must be feeling about me is complicated. It is in the nature of beings to hate that which manipulates them, even if the results turn out well. And so if you bear hatred towards me, I understand. However, I will justify myself one time and one time alone. What I did was for the weakening of Asmodeus, was for the completion of this ritual, the rebirth of the Numina and Hamir, and for the end of those tyrants who destroyed your home and nearly destroyed mine, Cloud. And in the end, the three of you have power. You have each other. And it is my hope that you will find it to be true, that these things outweigh the trials and tribulations you have been through on this journey. And that you will understand why I did what I did.
I think it's bold of you to assume people's nature when you don't seem to realise you can control, you can manipulate, but like I said, people are independent. I don't hate you. I feel indifferent towards you. And I'd rather you just bring my people somewhere safe and I never have to come in contact with you again.
That is something I can grant you. As per our arrangement, I can bring your people anywhere you like. They can be set up on their own planet, away from the affairs of others, where they will be safe. We can go to one of the great hubs of the universe, somewhere where there will be many other races. I could bring you to Volpakar, to the Tabaxi who live there. The choice.
I would never see them again if they went to Volpakar.
I would bring you with them if you wished it. And Saigalia and Volpakar are connected. There is travel between them, as is evidenced by Dust and Alistair. You would see them again.
If I look over to Storm, can I get a sense that she can hear this conversation?
She can hear. She cannot communicate through this portal, but she can hear and see everything that is happening, yes.
I'll look to her.
And she will silently convey to you that home is with you.
Could you just bring them to this island? I have somewhere they can go, but it's not safe yet.
Then Cloud on the mountaintop. Our deal is concluded. The portal approaches, widens, moves past your tribe and closes, and they are among you. They are here. Storm gives you a big hug. Everybody is hugged, and there are cries of celebration and reunion between all of you. And as you are all encompassed in this throng, you lose sight of Brennial Amakir. He is gone, and a mist surrounds you, and when it fades, you are on the Isle of Needle once more.
For a second, I was like, send them to Droskin, and I was like, no, wait, that's full.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I was
any of
like,
you.
"Ooh." I have a pub. We can all go get a drink.
You have a pub.
I think the first thing, like while Storm is like hugging Cloud, I am just verbal diarrhea, everything that's happened, all of our emotions and just everything. You don't believe it? I tapped into my stomach. I'm a druid. I can do all of this. Look, as you'll turn like form, just like, yeah.
Storm will do the same thing and be like, oh my god, it's so good, you can do that. And people, they verbal diarrhea everything that they've been through, how worried they've been about you this whole time. And Theramin and Thesia, you are in this. People start purring. There's like a purr that goes through this crowd.
We're like, did you know she was actually a snake person? I'm not sure if you just saw, but then she got turned into a human, and then
we saw everything. We saw everything. It was crazy. She closed her eyes for a second, and then she opened them again, and then the thing came, and they're like, boom.
I think I'm still like in like shock about Thesia, and I'm just like touching his skin and being like, what the fuck?
I think Thesia's like looking at her hands going, is this an illusion? And then like, she's like really close to her face because it's dark. She's like,
well,
I've got blind.
Crown of Stars should give you some light.
Yeah, it shines light out. Actually, I forgot about that. It's out 60 feet.
So do I.
30 feet brightly and 30 feet dimly, and so do you.
In my star form, so do I.
And so from the center of this throng, there is a glowing of starlight from Theramin and from Cloud. Several tabaxi like regard Theramin and go, so you're some kind of king, aren't you? They look at his sculpted form, the crown of stars around his head. The only thing to think in this moment is that he must be some kind of king.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, yeah, you could say that.
As soon as Cloud hears that, she's like, I need to go back and get another potion because this is insane. He needs to be a goose again. It's just the only way.
I like the goose.
And then
the
thing is, like, cats running round with a goose on the loose. A tribe of cats after you.
I don't think I'd want to be a goose in that situation.
No.
A drunk little goose at a bar is all right.
Yeah.
Hunting Theramin.
Oh, man.
Not a danger goose.
The mist fades further, and you see the others who were on Needle are around you here. Or rather, they are on this ship which circles, because quite a lot of time has passed. It seemed to you to pass quite quickly because Brennial did his shifting of the sky thing. The Whimsy of Nightfall is the name of that spell. So they looked for you on this island. You were gone, went back to the thing, and decided to just stay in the area to see if you returned. Which you do, and the ship comes down, and the crew members see all of your tribe and that you have returned. And Dust is just wide-eyed and jubilant.
I'll just run, grab him, pull him, and be like, come meet.
Introductions are made. Alistair Armstrong, with his one, like, half an arm and hand made out of black sand with electricity running through it, passes drinks around. A celebration to be had. The casks of ale and mead, etc., are brought from below decks. And a little party is had in the middle of the ocean, just here. At your leisure, the party moves to the boat, because I don't want to say the party ends and you get on a boat. You gotta have a party on a boat.
I think I'd have to coax a couple of the tribe members on low because of the water and just reassure them. No, it flies above. It goes above. We don't go anywhere near the water. It's fine.
And Alistair will say, and don't you worry about clouds. I can manipulate the clouds so that we don't pass through any icky wetness. I control the storm.
And then I'll be like, clouds, please don't manipulate me. Like, she's had a little bit to drink and she's like, wait, cloud? What?
You say that and Storm goes, storms, please don't manipulate me. Right. I apologize for I mean the weather. Indeed. You are brought back to Sessenseal, and the party continues, including Theramin's parents and Dylan and Duna and everybody who arrived in that city and has seen you guys perform. The next days pass in celebration. There is news distantly that some stuff has gone on in the south of the country. You hear that your rivals, the reserve list, have grown in reputation and achieved the same kind of hero status that you guys have achieved. About the narcissistic tendencies, there is very little news, although they are out there playing, waiting for their chance to face you. And one day, I will say a couple of days later, oh, forgive me, the next day after you arrive back at Sessenseal, Cloud, you receive a sending from Arwen.
She's probably nursing a bit of a headache. She's like,
100%. Arwen's sending reads, verbatim, Alberta gave this to me weeks ago. I hear we have refugees to welcome and some things to talk about. Love to visit that keep you mentioned. Message when you can. Love, Arwen. And you have 25 words to reply if you would like to do so.
Nice to hear. Head hurts. Sorry. Tribe safe. In Sessenseal. Would love to see you. Might need help clearing. Thank you.
It will be passed on.
Thank you.
A couple of days later, Arwen has been dealing with some other stuff. You are approached by Amelia Lagazi once more. The three of you. And she will say, just a bit of housekeeping. I know we made a deal, and I know that you do not have the scythes, or the scythe, rather, to uphold your end. Out of your control. I understand that. I am happy, as is Caspian, as are the others. If you would like, we will not interfere in any of your business. You will not see us. And same for you. We're happy to leave things there, if you are. Theramin nods enthusiastically.
Deal.
Excellent. I can honestly say that this has been the most tumultuous working relationship I've ever had with anybody.
Yeah.
Good luck in the battle of the bands. See you around, or not. Mockeries.
A little pebble throws it back of her head.
Hits her head. God damn it!
He's just like, I mean, well, you kind of own my pub that I'm paying you off, so I'm going to have to see you and speak to you at some point. So,
She says, "Oh, that? I heard about all of that. she throws perfectly an envelope, which Thesia you catch, and she will leave. Inside the envelope is complete ownership of your pub. You owe the bank nothing, and they do not
be
owe
owing me money. And I can't remember when we spoke to the Queen. Was there mention of on the mountaintop clan getting residency if they came to stay? I can't remember. I think it was just me.
I think it was just you.
In that case, I'd like to write a letter in these couple of days sending it to the royal palace, explaining what's happened, and just saying, can the citizenship please be extended to everyone?
And the response back is that if everyone will swear loyalty to the country of Garantia and to the crown in the presence of the lord of the city of Sesson Seal, then citizenship is theirs. And of course, they would be technically your, you are Lady Cloud of Droskin Keep. So they would be basically citizens of your area.
So technically, could they swear loyalty in front of me?
No, you don't have, you are a lesser lady.
Yeah, conflict of interest and all of that, I guess.
But for like local things, they would go to you with their troubles, etc., is the kind of the expectation and stuff.
Before I'll ask Storm whether that is something that she thinks they would be happy to do. And then
Storm will say, we lost our home, and it was my job as Pathfinder to make our way across the stars and to find a new world that we could live on in peace. To my chagrin, I think I have failed in that task, but I am more proud than I could ever truly express that you succeeded. I think there is no one better to lead our tribe. Cloud.
I only did so well because I was taught by the best. But I will pass it on to the Lord here that I know quite well, and we'll get that set up. And I have, if you would help me, a keep not too far from here, but it is dangerous. It needs to be cleared. But it's somewhere we could call home. It's not quite a mountain, but
well, we're druids. These things are we might have a little play around. Make a little mountain.
Make a little mountain.
A little one.
I think they call them hills here.
Hills.
Doesn't have quite the same
Foreign
ring.
concept. No.
No. I was very confused.
Indeed. Yes. No, we passed over this land, and there were these gently sloping upward things that sort of then just kind of topped over and went gently back down. It was.
Yes, when I first arrived here, I sat on one at the very peak. I got asked by a stranger what I was doing and said I was sitting on a mountaintop, and they said, no, that's just a hill.
Well, maybe we find the mountains here. We sort of go and visit every once in a while,
We sit and meditate.
We sit and meditate on a mountain, on a real mountaintop. We could find one. Yeah. I saw some piddly little things over to the west on our way.
I have some friends that lived, well, not as tall as our mountains, but there was. They were quite tall. They could maybe help us out.
You guys just mountain snobs.
Yeah, you guys really get into like what constitutes a mountain.
Constitutes a mountain, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, there's the real thing of like, you remember like the Goliaths in the mountain range back near Merle Stone, and
that's what I was referencing.
She was referencing it too. Yeah, it's like, oh, those piddly little things. I mean, yeah, they're better than hills, I guess.
Yes. Not quite in the clouds, though.
Indeed. Everybody is more than happy to become citizens of this country, say their oaths before Silas Robingard, who looks at Thesia and just kind of goes, so that's
Yeah,
not
because he's
an
true
illusion.
sight will just show me as
that's
human still. Like,
that's not an illusion. What? I mean, you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to, but I'm not good at keeping my mouth shut about the things I see.
she kind of just looks at him, just like,
No.
we're not talking about it.
Okay, that's fine. So much weird stuff is going on around me all the time. And now I just know about it all, you know? And it was always there, and that's kind of terrifying. Okay. And the people of Cloud's tribe are citizens of Corendia.
Yay! Sorry.
Woo! Thesia owns her pub. Theramin, eventually your parents are talking about going back to their home in the capital. And we'll sort of ask you what your plans are.
Well, he was thinking about becoming an alcoholic at Thesia's pub and just living like there in
Just
the
a
dark,
regular.
having my own table with like a reserved name on the thing. But I guess maybe I could spend some time with my folks, because we never really got to do that, and then everything happened, and then obviously you were in not the best of places to be. So I think he's going to try and spend as much time with his mum and dad. Just going to have to, go home with them.
Nice.
Which means I will be parting ways from you guys. Okay.
I think we all have things we need to deal with, but she'll take a button that she's taken off her armor and just hand it over to Theramin. In our tribe, it might seem weird, but we don't have many material things, so buttons are seen as intricate works of art, which is why I collect them. So have this one.
I'm just like looking to like give you anything, and I think I have a. Hold on, what is it? It's a. Where is it? Oh God, I don't know. I think I have to give that to Thesia though, because it's a poison dagger on a gold chain from the.
That needs to go to.
That needs to go to Thesia. But I think I will give Cloud one of my like ruined shoulder like things.
Pauldrons, yeah.
Yeah. What are they called?
A pauldron.
A pauldron.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just a bit like, it's a nice looking one. It's got a rune on it. So
yeah.
Present it.
Thank you, Theramin. Just so you know, this isn't goodbye. We still have things we need to do, and I need to call on you for the Droskin, but
I am always here.
You know where to find me.
And Dylan will say, and you guys have to play music as well. We're gonna have to practice again before the battle, you know.
We will, Dylan. We will.
Okay, good. Because we got really famous really quickly, and it's like, I would like for us to win.
Yeah, me too. We will. Don't worry.
Okay.
I feel like we need a big like group hug. I'm not normally a huggy person, but I think if any
As soon as you've said big hug, like Cloud's already like wrapped her little arms and her tail around your leg and just like.
Mm-hmm. And Dylan gets in and is like hugging around your waist.
Yeah.
Like patting Dylan's head.
Yeah. Thesia's in there too.
Yeah, it feels weird because it's like hugging
Skin on skin instead of skin on scale.
Yeah, you're squishier than you remember.
It's like, oh.
So, Dylan, what are you gonna do? Are you okay? Do you want to come with me, or like what's your plans? Are you all right?
Well, I thought I might stick around at Cecil for a bit. you know, I've got things here to do.
Do you now?
We do.
Mm-hmm,
I think we all made the same face then. Just like,
he'll go just a little red. And you know, Thesia will come, of course, and become a patron of your establishment and bring over as many people as I can. Although I'm not quite sure if Duna's gonna think of that as betrayal. We'll see how that goes.
I think Thesia will have a lot of patrons with my tribe, so don't worry about it too much, Dylan.
Yeah.
And
I am like the equivalent of like 20.
this is very true. You can really put it away. The other thing I'm going to be looking into while I'm here is learning a bit of wizardcraft. I'm going to see about finding a teacher to actually pick up studying some magic. It was about time. I'd be a little bit less useless at certain things.
Dylan, you're the one person that has kept this group together. You are not useless.
Definitely not useless.
Well, at one time, this man would never have had the confidence to accept that. And here he looks, embarrassed, but nods and smiles and has a moment of friendship with all of you guys. And with that, temporary splitting of ways before, of course, you will come back together again to go to Druskin Keep to play in the Battle of the Bands and whatever else is in the future for the Mockeries group. We are going to end this session and this campaign. Thank you all so much for watching. It has been my honor and pleasure to play with these awesome people and bring this story to you. Hope you enjoyed.
Thank you, Josh, for just creating this fantastic living, breathing world and like completely just chucking us in and like throwing us curveballs and just I can't get over how amazing this story has been.
It's been
Thank you.
phenomenal.
Thank you so much. Like there's not words. Thank you.
There really isn't.
And of course, you guys for populating it and being brilliant. And the world doesn't exist without you. The story doesn't exist without your driving forces making it happen. You are the heart and soul of everything that has happened. And so, thank you all very much. And we'll catch you next time for some one-shot keep monster removal. Ta-ta!
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.